Hey guys, so a couple of weeks ago, somebody reached out to me and asked me, look, I'm an expert in buying properties, refurbishing them, and then selling them on. I think this gentleman was from North America, and he wanted me to guide him as to what would be the right kind of properties to purchase in Dubai to be able to put a little bit of money in and then turn them around and flip them for a profit. So I've been thinking about this for a while, and I might do a video series, or I might do a paid service in the future for you to know which properties to purchase in Dubai where you can spend a little bit of money and then flip them around to make a profit. Okay, stick around to the end. I'm going to talk about 10 points in my personal opinion that you must look at and be careful when you're looking to flip properties, specifically when you're looking to put some money in, do them up, put a little bit of makeup, lipstick, add value, right? Okay, my name is Fahd Dawood. I've been doing this for 14 plus years rather. Since 2006, I started in Toronto, Canada. And since 2007, I've been doing this in Dubai. I am the author of The Intelligent Real Estate Investor. You can buy it off Amazon or you can order the ebook down below. If you want to work with me one-on-one, such as buying a property, you need very specific advice. You're in a bind, you want to negotiate harder, you want to save more money, real estate related, reach out to me. There is a contact form below. I'll reply directly to you after you fill out my questionnaire, and we qualify for each other to work together. If you want free advice, hit me up in the comment section. I will generally take up comments and make them into videos, share my opinion, and see if you agree. Then you'll be able to benefit out of it as well. So on this topic, I think I could speak for 20-30 minutes, but I'm going to condense it down and not make it too long and just point out 10 things that I feel that you must look out for when you're looking to purchase a property, refurbish it, add a few, a little bit of mascara, some lipstick, some foundation, and then flip it out for a profit for somebody else who's really looking for that home or that property, call it home. Okay. Now, buyer beware or viewer beware, I haven't refurbished as such a property before. Yeah, sometimes we buy properties, like for instance, 2013, the fund I was working with, we purchased 40 apartments. And out of the 40 two-bedroom apartments that we purchased in a very specific locality in Dubai Sports City, some were in pretty bad shape. So yes, I went in there and I looked at the ceiling that had water coming down, and I said, look, even as hot as the market is, and even though we've sold almost 30 of these apartments, the 10 that aren't selling is essentially because they look bad when you enter. So we put in some paint, fresh paint, did up the ceiling, made the place look good, smell good, feel good, and pretty much had sales on our hand. But buyer or viewer beware, I haven't done this on a big, large scale. So any advice that I give you, take it with a pinch of salt. And if you've got more experience than I've got in this particular area, then hey, listen, come out to me in the comment section and add so that other people can benefit. Okay, look, the Dubai freehold market is essentially 20 odd years old now. Okay, and why this has not been a model that's been successful or successfully done in Dubai before, who knows? I would say my opinion is because there just weren't too many old properties. Okay, the market was just not mature enough for there to be nascent intrinsic demand for a specific kind of property. But we're moving into that direction, and that thing is coming up now, right? Where communities have built up, and even though the property quality on its own might not be that great in that community, the community itself has huge pent-up demand, so that when villas or townhouses come up for rent or apartments come up for rent in that place, they get snatched up fairly fast. Okay, so the number one thing that you would be looking at if you're looking for a property to refurbish and resell is make sure it's 10 plus years old. Okay, the reason why it should be 10 plus years old is, if you've looked at some of my other videos, then Dubai has great quality, mediocre quality, and just regular quality. Most of the times apartments or villas or townhouses that were built 10 plus years older, 10 plus years before, the quality has deteriorated. Okay, let's call a spade, and that's where the opportunity is. So I wouldn't recommend going into a community that's just 5+ years old, because, you know, how much value are you going to be able to add to that? So look at communities or properties which are at least 10+ years old. Number 2, you got to do some research on communities in demand. Okay, you have to look at actual communities. Off the top of my head, I don't want to name them in this video. Perhaps I'll do another video in the future. Perhaps I'll run it as a paid service. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a video so others can benefit and, you know, go where others have not yet in the Dubai market. But look at communities which are in demand. Okay, essentially speaking, communities where people love to live. They have friends who live there. Houses get snatched up fast. Rents get snatched up fast. And do some research on sales prices and rental prices. Okay, this is very easy. There are a few big portals in Dubai. One is Property Finder, the other is Bayut, the third is Dubizzle. These are pretty much the big guns. I think there's another one coming up called Hausa. Look at these to know sales prices and the rents in those community. Okay, you got to do, like, you know, get a spreadsheet together, do some extra curricular research, right? Don't just go with your gut feeling. Number 4, you must, in my opinion, appoint a specialist agent for your search. Okay, now if you're new to Dubai, I don't really care. Like, agents look through hundreds of transactions, and you might be just purchasing one transaction every few years, or 2 or 3 or 4. Unless you're like that seasoned investor who's got 10 to 20 or 30 transactions under their belt, I would always advise that you use a specialist agent in that community. How do you find out? You call them and then you interview them. Some of my videos, I release a script, or if you don't have one, then you can reach out to me. I'll give you a script on how to know if that agent is essentially a specialist in that community. Bottom line, he should know prices like the back of his hand, and he should know what villa sold in the last 3 months, and he should have technically done a transaction in the last month in that community. The benefit for you to appoint an agent to front you is essentially because he's going to know which prices he can push and negotiate the best bargains, what's available, what's not available in that specific community. Okay, so have a specialist front you. Number 5, pricing is key. Okay, so the dollar sign. If you pay too much for a property, then it doesn't matter what kind of value you add, you're not going to be able to flip it for a profit. So negotiating and pricing is super important. Number 6, do not buy a dud. Okay, what do I mean by a dud? Okay, let's say there's a villa community. Now, every community has the best spots and the worst spots. Okay, a dud would be the worst spot, where, you know, the villa or the townhouse is absolutely overlooking the road, or there's a lot of sound in the background, or you know, there's another townhouse overlooking into it, or it's funny shaped. It's like the price is really low on that particular villa or townhouse or apartment because it's an absolute dud. Okay, but in my personal opinion, don't buy a dud, even because you wouldn't buy trash or garbage even if it was free, unless you had this recycling plan that was going to recycle and sell that on. But essentially speaking, don't buy garbage even if it's given to you for free. Do not purchase a prince or a princess. Okay, now, as I said, every community has that bad location and bad property, and like, it's relative. Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad property, it's just relative in terms of what the good property is, right? So the good property might be a villa or a townhouse overlooking the lake, overlooking the greenery, close to the exit but not too close to have the cars being sounded, close to the park but not absolutely too close, maybe 2 minutes walking distance instead of 30 seconds walking distance. Now, that would be something like a prince or a princess of the community. But guess what? This price point on this goes up, right? So remember, we're looking at purchasing a property, refurbishing it by putting in a few upgrades on the property, and then flipping it, reselling it to the market to beautiful property buyers who want to call it their home. Okay, so don't buy a princess because the price that you've already paid, then refurbishing and putting in extra makeup, lipstick, mascara, it's going to cost too much, and then you're not going to be able to sell it. Okay, number 8, spend the right amount. Okay, this has to be absolutely, let's just do it like this, it has to be perfect. Okay, don't overspend. Okay, this was in 2015, I walked into a quasi mansion. It wasn't a real mansion, but a quasi mansion, where the person had bought a villa, shell and core, and then put in marble. I think they imported that marble, and the marble, I believe, was 12 feet by 12 feet or 12 inch by 12 inch. I'm not in the marble game, so I don't understand, but he said, look at how big my marble floors are, so I must sell my property X amount extra. Well, nobody cares about your marble floors, right? They were special to you, and yes, they'll be special to somebody else, but they're not going to pay the exact amount you paid for them, but because they were already used, and perhaps it's not somebody else's taste. So when you're refurbishing the property and putting on extra makeup on it, make sure that you're not going overboard. Make sure you understand what Dubai residents and Dubai homeowners cherish and require. If you can add a gazebo or a porch or extra patio or something like that, I don't know, every community has its own unique requirement. If you add something that adds value, great, you can add more money and ask for more money and let money come to you. But if you add something that doesn't add value for everybody's opinion, more money not coming in, more money going out, right? Does that make sense to you? Good. Okay, number 9, you must have holding power. Okay, you know what you're essentially doing right now. Dubai property prices are fairly low, right? You're going into a community that you're not looking at a shitty dead-end community. You're looking at a good, popular community. You're going to look at picking up a deal, right? Negotiating. Then not a dud, not a princess, and then spending the right amount of money in the upgrades. But then you're going to have to sit and wait. You can't turn around and go into the market and try to make a quick buck and flip. Your house might sell 2 months, in 4 months, or in 6 months, because you're waiting for the right buyer who's in love with the community and is going to be willing to pay the right price above the price that you've paid to purchase it and above the price what you've paid to make the place look absolutely nice and gorgeous, right? Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. So you must have holding power. Like, you shouldn't have taken a loan from the bank and then all of a sudden now the loan is due and oh my God, what are you going to do? Okay, number 10, do not fall in love with the property. Okay, this is not your girlfriend, it's not your wife, you're just making it better because you're going to let it go. Okay, but if you fall in love with the property, what's it going to do? Let's say you purchase the property for, I'm going to give you an example, for 2.5 million, okay, and you've spent an extra 350,000 dirhams on it. The total price for this is 2.85 million. Okay, now because this 350 was such a labor of love, that, you know, 2.85 is now kind of like the cost. Let's not add your time and other stuff, but let's say 2.85, and you're looking to sell it for 3.3 million. Now, because you put so much love and effort in there and you love this property, you might, if you love it so much, you might become rigid at 3.3 million. But what if you get a price at 3.2 million? You're a business person. You make a business decision and you sell and you exit. If you love the property, guess what? That emotion is going to play on your ego and is going to stop you from selling it. And you're in the business of making money and letting the money circulate and go around town so you can get onto your next property. Okay, hope this makes sense. Hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. Ciao for now. Bye.